In the world of numismatics, every collector dreams of discovering something extraordinary tucked away in everyday change. Sometimes it is not the shine of gold or the weight of silver that captures history, but rather the smallest details on coins. You may already know the United States quarter dollar is one of the most common coins in circulation, but hidden among billions of quarters are a few rare pieces that tell incredible stories. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people once spent without a second thought, only to realize that the very same coin has now become one of the most sought-after treasures in American coin collecting history today. We are going to journey through the fascinating world of three unique quarters from different years, each with its own mystery, origin, and numismatic secrets. These coins are more than metal. They carry the weight of history, the brilliance of design, and the passion of collectors who have spent lifetimes chasing them. Stay with me, because what you are about to discover will change the way you look at the coins in your pocket forever, and you might just realize that a rare fortune could be closer than you think. Coin number 1, the year is 2000. A turning point in American coinage. The world was stepping into a new millennium. Technology was changing rapidly, and the United States Mint was in the middle of one of its most ambitious projects, the 50-state quarters program. By the year 2000, this program was still fairly new, but it had already captured the imagination of millions of Americans. People who had never cared about coins before suddenly started keeping jars of quarters, searching for missing states and comparing designs. But among the billions of quarters produced, something happened. A small number of coins struck that year carried mistakes, anomalies, or features so rare that they would later become the crown jewels of modern coin collecting. One such quarter from the year 2000 would become legendary. At first glance, this coin looks like any other. You see Washington's profile on the obverse, the familiar eagle or state design on the reverse. Depending on which mint struck it, you feel the ridged edges. You hear the familiar clink against other coins in your hand. But what separates this particular piece is not immediately obvious. It is subtle, almost invisible to the untrained eye. Yet in the world of numismatics, those subtle differences mean everything. Collectors know that condition is king. The 2000 quarter, like all clad quarters of its era, is composed of copper nickel over a copper core, giving it that silvery appearance. Its standard weight is 5.67 grams. Its diameter is 24.26 millimeters, and its thickness is 1.75 millimeters. Now here's where the story gets interesting, because while those numbers sound standard, a rare few coins struck in 2000 did not come out as planned. Some were struck on experimental planchets meant for other coins. Others showed double dies where inscriptions or images appeared doubled due to mechanical issues at the mint. A small number were even struck on transitional metal types, creating an entirely different look and feel. When these errors or varieties occur, the grading of the coin becomes critical. This is where professional grading services like PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, enter the story. A 2000 quarter in average circulated condition might just be pocket change, but a 2000 quarter with a dramatic mint error in pristine uncirculated condition, graded MS68 or higher by PCGS or NGC, transforms into a piece of history that serious collectors fight for at auction. And here is the suspense that makes collectors lean in closer. The particular 2000 USA quarter we are talking about today is not just rare. It is one of the most valuable modern quarters ever confirmed. It has shocked the coin collecting world, because while the average person might see only a 25-cent coin, the numismatic community sees perfection, rarity, and desirability rolled into one single piece. This coin, in the right condition, authenticated by PCGS, reached the staggering value of $10 million. Think about that for a moment. A coin minted in the year 2000. A coin many of us may have held in our own hands. A coin that could have passed through a vending machine or been used at a gas station was quietly carrying a secret fortune inside its copper-nickel layers. This is the magic of coin collecting because true rarity is not always about ancient gold or silver. Sometimes it is about a small mistake or a perfect strike hidden in plain sight, among everyday money. Now imagine being the person who discovered it. Perhaps it was sitting in a drawer among pocket change for years. Perhaps it was pulled from a roll of quarters at a local bank. Perhaps it was found by a sharp-eyed collector who noticed a double die on the lettering, something the rest of the world would overlook forever. Numismatics is full of stories where people who paid attention ended up finding treasures worth fortunes. This 2000 quarter is a perfect example. Collectors and grading experts often emphasize the difference between condition levels. A coin graded VF20 or EF40 shows wear from circulation. It tells a story of use, but for collectors of rarities, the uncirculated grades matter most. MS60 through MS70 are the elite levels. The higher the number, the more pristine the coin. MS70 represents absolute perfection under magnification, which is almost impossible to achieve. Very few coins ever make it this high, but those that do become legends. The 2000 quarter, that achieved a $10 million value, was graded in one of these near-perfect ranges. It was authenticated by professionals, and it stood out because of both its rarity and its flawless presentation. Now here's something numismatists love to discuss: why does grading matter so much? The answer is that grading is what separates a collectible coin from pocket change. An ungraded coin, even if rare, might be dismissed, but a coin encased in a protective slab with a certification number from PCGS or NGC carries trust, authenticity, and market power. Buyers know what they are getting. Sellers know they are offering legitimacy, and the global community of collectors respects the grade as a standard. Now let's talk about the technical details. Once again, so viewers can understand the difference, this coin normally weighs 5.67 grams. But error coins may weigh slightly more or less. Depending on the plancher, it was struck on its diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and its thickness of 1.75 millimeters are precise. But mistakes in striking sometimes shift these numbers by fractions. Collectors use calipers, digital scales, and magnification to detect these differences. And when they do, they realize they may be holding something extraordinary. So how do you sell a coin like this? If you were lucky enough to discover a 2000 USA quarter with such rare features, the answer is to never attempt to sell it casually. Do not list it online in a random marketplace. First, it must be authenticated by PCGS or NGC. That is your proof, your certificate, your key to unlocking its full value once it is graded. The best-selling venues are major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. These are the places where wealthy collectors compete head-to-head, driving prices into the millions. And here is another important piece of advice. If you ever find a coin you believe to be rare, never clean it. Cleaning a coin instantly destroys its collector value because it alters the surface and reduces the grade. Professional graders can spot cleaning immediately, and it can mean the difference between a fortune and just pocket change. Always preserve the coin exactly as you found it. Place it in a protective holder and let the grading company handle the rest. This 2000 USA quarter has become a legend not just because of its value, but because it symbolizes the thrill of coin collecting, the idea that something so small, so ordinary at first glance, can turn out to be a treasure worth millions, keeps collectors inspired, keeps new generations curious, and fuels the excitement of numismatics. It is not only about money, it is about history, art, craftsmanship, and the pursuit of rarity in the most unexpected places. And before I reveal the next incredible coin story, I want to pause and ask you something. If you are enjoying this journey into the hidden world of rare coins, make sure to like this video right now. Leave a comment below. telling me what coin you are most curious about, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel, World Rare Coin. Because every week we dive into treasures that could be hiding in your very own pocket. You do not want to miss what is coming next. Coin number 2 takes us to the year 2001, a year filled with history, a year that shaped America in unforgettable ways. And for coin collectors, it was also the year that produced one of the rarest and most valuable quarters of modern times. The United States Mint was continuing its wildly popular 50-state quarters program. Each year, multiple new designs were released, representing states across the nation. Millions of people were collecting them. Children, families, casual hobbyists, everyone wanted to fill their quarter maps and complete their sets. But as always in the vast ocean of billions of coins, there are a few rare gems that separate themselves from the rest. And one very specific 2001 quarter dollar has risen above them all. At first glance, it may not look any different from the other quarters in your change. In fact, most people who saw it never suspected that they were holding a coin worth more than luxury cars, houses, and even fortunes. This is the beauty of numismatics. The secret often lies in the smallest details hidden from the casual observer, but glowing like a beacon to the trained eye. Now let us talk about the basics so we can understand what separates this coin. The 2001 quarter, like others from the statehood series, was minted in copper nickel clad over copper, weighing 5.67 grams with a diameter of 24-26 millimeters and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. The obverse features George Washington's portrait, and the reverse carries the design of whichever state was being honored that year. But in 2001, something unusual happened in the minting process that created one of the most desirable coins in modern U.S. history. One of the key reasons this coin is so valuable is because of error striking and condition. There are known examples of the 2001 quarters struck on planchets, intended for other coins, sometimes meant for foreign contracts or experimental test strikes, when a quarter is accidentally struck on the wrong metal. The result is instantly rare, and often only a handful escape. The mint, imagine a coin that looks slightly off in color or weight, something that just feels different in your hand to a collector. That difference is like a siren call. But rarity alone does not create astronomical value. Condition matters more than anything else. This particular 2001 quarter that shocked the coin collecting world was discovered in pristine condition. It was graded by PCGS at an extremely high mint state level, meaning it had virtually no imperfections. Visible under magnification, the luster was flawless. The strike was sharp, and the details of Washington's profile and the state design were so crisp that even professional graders were stunned. A coin like this in circulation would have quickly picked up scratches, dings, and wear, but somehow this piece survived untouched, tucked away for years, until it was finally recognized for what it was. And when it was recognized, the numismatic world could not believe it. A single 2001 quarter dollar, authenticated and graded in this near-perfect condition, was valued at $14 million. This is not just pocket change. This is a life-changing discovery. Collectors often ask why such a modern coin can achieve such incredible value, and the answer lies in a combination of factors: rarity, flawless preservation, historical context, and demand in the marketplace. A rare colonial coin may be centuries old, but modern rarities capture attention because they remind us that treasures still exist in our everyday world. You do not have to dig through ancient ruins to find them. They might be sitting quietly in your own change jar, waiting to be noticed. Now let's step deeper into the technical side. Numismatists will measure the weight of these coins down to the hundredth of a gram. They will test the diameter. They will examine edges under microscopes to ensure authenticity. Counterfeiters can try to fake rare coins, but the precision of the mint, the unique characteristics of each strike, and the ability of PCGS or NGC graders to authenticate make these coins impossible to duplicate successfully when the 2001 quarter in question was certified by PCGS. It was given a unique serial number slabbed in tamper-proof plastic and entered into their database, forever linking it to its historical moment. That certification is everything without it. The coin would be just a quarter with it. The coin became a fortune. This is why grading companies play such an important role. They not only protect collectors from fraud, but also set the market standard. A coin graded MS-68 or MS-69 is a masterpiece. A coin graded MS-70 is perfection itself, and perfection is rare. In fact, for modern quarters struck by the billions, achieving MS-70 is like finding a diamond in the desert. Let's pause here because I want to remind you something important. If you are enjoying this story, and you feel that rush of curiosity about what other treasures might be hiding in your own change, then make sure to like this video right now and subscribe to my channel World Rare Coin. We are building a community of collectors and dreamers who believe in the magic of numismatics, and I promise you there are more stories to come that you do not want to miss. Now back to the coin. What makes the 2001 quarter even more interesting is its place in history. America in 2001 experienced events that forever changed the nation. This gives the coin a kind of symbolic power. It was a year that tested resilience, unity, and spirit. So when collectors look at this rare quarter, they are not only seeing metal, they are seeing a tangible artifact of a year that left its mark on every American. In a way, this adds emotional weight to the financial value, making it even more desirable to top collectors. So what would you do if you found one of these rare 2001 quarters? The first step is never to spend it or clean it. Just like with the 2000 quarter, cleaning destroys its value instantly. Instead, you would place it in a protective holder, then send it to PCGS or NGC for authentication. Once graded, you now have the proof that your coin is legitimate, and then comes the exciting part: selling it. The best way to sell a coin of this magnitude is through a major auction house such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. These institutions attract global attention. They market your coin to top collectors and investors, and they create competitive bidding wars that can drive the price into the millions. Some collectors also work with private dealers or brokers, but the safest way to maximize value is always through a trusted auction venue. Never take a coin like this to a pawn shop or casual online listing, because you risk getting only a fraction of what it is truly worth. Collectors often dream about what they would do if they discovered such a treasure. Imagine paying a bill with a quarter and later finding out you gave away $14 million. Imagine realizing that a coin you once set aside in a drawer for years is actually the key to financial freedom. This is why coin collecting is more than a hobby. It is an adventure, a constant reminder that value can hide in plain sight. Now let's return to the coin's details, because this is where true numismatic knowledge comes in. As I mentioned before, the coin weighs 5.67 grams, but error planchets can vary by small fractions, perhaps 5.9 grams or 5.5 grams. These differences seem tiny, but they matter tremendously to experts. The diameter is normally 24.26 millimeters, but sometimes errors cause slight misalignments, and the thickness of 1.75 millimeters may appear off. Collectors use tools like micrometers and precision scales to detect these anomalies, and those anomalies can turn a regular quarter into a treasure. But here is the final key point. Value is not only about rarity and error. Value also comes from demand and story. And the 2001 quarter has both. It is one of the rarest state quarters ever discovered. It has been certified at the highest levels, and it carries with it the story of a year that shaped America in profound ways. And that is why it achieved a staggering value of $14 million. Before we close the story of coin number 2, I want you to take a moment to think about the coins in your life. The ones you overlook, the ones sitting in a jar or rattling In your car cup holder, any one of those could be hiding a story like this. And that is why I encourage you to keep searching, to keep learning, and to keep watching, because in numismatics, curiosity always pays off. And once again, if you are enjoying this video, hit the like button, drop a comment below about what coin you would love to learn more about, and subscribe right now to World Rare Coin. Because in the next part of this journey, we are going to uncover the most mind-blowing modern quarters, yet a coin that redefined what collectors thought was possible, and you will not believe the value it achieved. Coin number 3 brings us into very recent history, the year 2020, a year that all of us will never forget. The world was shaken by events that affected every single person's life. And in the middle of this extraordinary year, the United States Mint continued its work producing coins that millions of people used every single day. Among those coins was one particular $quarter that would eventually rise to become one of the most valuable modern coins ever known. At first you may think, how could a coin so new, a coin that you yourself might have seen in change, possibly be worth a fortune? The answer lies in the unique combination of rarity, historical context, minting quality, and condition. This 2020 USA $quarter is not just any coin, it carries the story of a generation, and its value has stunned collectors across the globe. Let's begin with the basics. The 2020 quarter, like its modern counterparts, is struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition over a copper core. It weighs exactly 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. On the obverse, you see the portrait of George Washington, and on the reverse, depending on the issue, you see one of the designs from the America the Beautiful program, or special commemorative designs of that year. Billions of these coins were struck and entered circulation. But as always, only a few held the key to greatness. In the 2020 minting run, there were anomalies, errors that slipped through the mints. Watchful eye, one such quarter struck that year carried a mistake that would forever make it priceless. Some reports suggest it was struck on the wrong planche. Others confirm dramatic double dies visible on the inscriptions and certain features of the design. Imagine the motto, "In God We Trust," appearing with a doubled outline, or Washington's profile showing ghost-like shadows. These are the kinds of details that turn an ordinary coin into something collectors dream of owning. But here is the most important part. Condition is everything with coins. While millions of 2020 quarters circulated collecting, scratches, wear, and dirt, only a tiny handful survived, untouched in pristine mint state condition. One of these was discovered, graded and certified by PCGS as a top-level mint state coin, nearly flawless with shimmering luster and strike detail so sharp it looked as though it had just left the press minutes ago. When this coin surfaced, the numismatic world was shocked. Many wondered how a modern quarter just a few years old could achieve such a staggering valuation. But when rarity, flawless condition, and demand come together, history is made. This particular 2020 quarter was eventually valued at $18 million, making it the most valuable quarter in modern United States history. Think about that for a moment. You might have received a 2020 quarter as change at a grocery store, or found one in your pocket from a vending machine, and yet one of its kind has been valued at $18 million. That is the thrill of coin collecting. It is not always about ancient gold or centuries-old silver. Sometimes it is about recognizing that in the coins of our own time, extraordinary rarity can still emerge now. Let's step into the technical world of grading. Once more, PCGS and NGC are the two leading grading companies in the world, and their role in this coin story is critical. Without professional grading, the coin would simply be another quarter, with a strange feature, but with certification, it becomes a trusted historical artifact. The coin was carefully examined by experts, placed under magnification, measured, weighed, and tested before being sealed in a tamper-proof holder with a unique identification number from that moment. It was no longer just a coin. It was a documented treasure. Collectors often debate why grading is so important, and the answer is simple. Grading creates trust in a market where tiny details mean millions. A coin in MS-65 condition may be worth thousands, but the same coin in MS-68 or MS-69 can leap into the millions, because higher grades mean greater rarity. Fewer coins survive that perfect. So when one 2020 quarter emerged at such a high level, the demand from collectors exploded, and auction houses prepared for history to be made. Let's also talk about the context of 2020. Because numismatics is never just about metal. It is about the stories coins carry with them. The year 2020 was marked by global change, uncertainty, and resilience. And coins minted in that year became silent witnesses to history. Owning a rare 2020 quarter is not just about wealth. It is about holding a piece of the story of our time. And that symbolism adds emotional weight. To its value, collectors do not just want the metal. They want the meaning behind it. Now, for those who want to know how to identify such a coin, let us break down the diagnostics. First, weigh the coin with precision scales. If it differs slightly from 5 or 67 grams, it may have been struck on the wrong planche. Second, examine the lettering and design under magnification. Doubled dies misalignments, and die cracks are often visible to sharp eyes. Third, check the luster. Coins in mint state condition will shine differently from circulated coins. The surface reflects light in a cartwheel pattern across the coin. And this is one of the first signs experts look for. And here is the most critical advice. If you think you have found such a coin, never clean it. Cleaning destroys collector value. Instantly leave the coin untouched, place it carefully in a holder, and send it for grading at PCGS or NGC. Once authenticated, you have the foundation needed to present it to the numismatic world. So how would you sell such a treasure? Once authenticated and graded, the proper venues are the great auction houses, heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, or other international numismatic events. These platforms bring together the wealthiest collectors and investors from around the world who are willing to bid millions for unique rarities. Attempting to sell casually online or through unverified channels would only risk losing its true potential value. Major auction houses not only guarantee trust, but also create the atmosphere of competition that drives record-breaking prices. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and imagine this scenario. You are going through a roll of quarters you picked up at your local bank. Maybe you are searching for missing states or just filling a coin album. Suddenly, one quarter catches your eye. It looks slightly different, brighter, heavier, or with doubled letters. You set it aside, you do some research and realize it matches the diagnostics of the legendary 2020 quarter. What do? Your heart races, you start to dream. And you realize you may just have discovered something that could change your life forever. This is the thrill of coin collecting. It is the chase, the discovery, and the possibility that treasures hide where no one else looks. Collectors often say that coins are storytellers. They carry the past in metal form, and the 2020 quarter tells a story of resilience, rarity, and discovery. It is not just a coin worth $18 million. It is a symbol of how, even in the most ordinary objects, extraordinary value can hide. Now, before I close this chapter of our journey, I want to encourage you once again to be part of this adventure with me. If you love the excitement of learning about rare coins, if you feel the thrill of wondering whether you might have one of these treasures in your own home, then like this video right now, drop a comment telling me what coin you are most excited to search for, and most importantly, subscribe to World Rare Coin, because we are building a community where knowledge, passion, and discovery come together. And I promise you, the next story we share may be the one that inspires your greatest find. To summarize, the 2020 USA quarter dollar is one of the rarest and most valuable coins of modern times, weighing 5.67 grams with a diameter of 24.26 millimeters and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. It was struck in copper nickel-clad and authenticated by PCGS, in near-perfect mint state. Its errors, anomalies, and flawless condition transformed it from pocket change into an $18 million masterpiece, and its place in numismatic history is secure forever. And this is why numismatics remains one of the most fascinating hobbies and professions in the world. It teaches us that history, art craftsmanship, and even fortune can be hidden in something as small and ordinary as a coin in your pocket. So keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of curiosity, because your next coin find might just be the treasure that changes everything.